This is GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW flyers. That is 2-3 page essays on the themes of Masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 219, entitled Bitch Slapping of Feminazi Hecklers at Masculist Talk. Description. This flyer imagines a collective male bitch-slapping incident at a university talk given by a prominent masculist when feminazi hecklers try to destroy the talk. The men in the audience explode in rage as years of frustration against the feminazi bitches breaks the surface, thus setting a historical precedent copied around the world. Flyer itself. Bitch slapping of feminazi hecklers at Masculist Talk by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. Picture the following scene. A Western University men's lib group has invited a prominent masculist to come to their campus and give a university-wide big talk. The group advertises it heavily, and the turnout is huge, standing room only, with many turned away at the door. The university's feminazi group has also been busy, aiming to so disrupt the talk with group heckling that they expect to be able to close it down, so that the speaker is unable to talk due to the feminazi noise. However, these feminazis are in for a history-making surprise. The speaker starts off with a dramatic statement. Quote, "The feminazi bitches have become genociders. They are now indirectly wiping out whole populations, so have to be stopped. The fluffy feminist hypocrites, the hated feminazi bitches, have taken over the divorce courts and made them so toxic for males that young men have seen the damage that has been done by these feminazi monsters to their fathers, their uncles, their older male friends, and have decided they want nothing to do with marriage, nor with having kids, so they go MGTOW, men going their own way, rejecting marriage, rejecting paternity, and spending their money on themselves. Probably a lot of you have heard of the MGTOWs and Masculists. These MGTOWs are not a fringy group. They are 2/3 of young men under 35 in many advanced countries. They may not be MGTOW in philosophy, but they are in practice, and that is what matters. They do not want to be dragged through a fluffy feminist hypocrite-dominated divorce court and be financially massacred, losing his kids with a 90% probability, losing his house, half his possessions, forced to pay child payments for kids he will barely see, and often alimony so his fluffy ex-wife can continue to parasite off him after the divorce the way she did before the divorce, in close brackets, and have his life ruined, living in his car. There's such a hatred by men against these feminazi bitches that young men spit at them and avoid marriage like the plague. Young women are now waking up that they cannot persuade young quality males to give them their sperm. So these young women are now becoming aware that the root cause of them not becoming mothers is due indirectly to the toxicity of the divorce courts as created by the fluffy feminist hypocrites. So young women are learning to hate the feminazis bitches as much as men." End quote. Such a violent verbal attack against the feminazis in the room was too much for them to tolerate, so at the signal of their leader, the heckling began. And what a heckling! Some 50-odd women started shouting abuse at the speaker, drowning out his words until he turned up the mic. This is what he told them and the audience. Quote, "Guys, it's obvious these feminazi bitches are trying to kill this talk, so I have a little surprise for them. I want you to help me make a little bit of history today that will serve as a precedent around the world. These feminazi genociders have to be stopped, so how to do that? What is an effective means to stop these feminazi genociders in their tracks? We don't need bullets. We only need the palms of our hands. I want you to create an event that the history books will see as equivalent to when Rosa Parks, the black American woman who refused to sit at the back of the bus reserved for blacks, an event that sparked the black civil rights movement in the southern states of the US. Or the Stonewall riots of the gays in New York, when the gays rioted against the police for several hours. If you're a man and utterly fed up with these feminazi bitches, then now's your opportunity, collectively as men, to hit back at these fluffy feminist hypocrites, these feminazi monsters. If you're a woman and you see these feminazis as the cause for you not being able to have a baby, then you too can express your hatred against these feminazi bitches. What I want you to do, if you're close to a feminazi who is heckling, who is trying to shut down this talk that 1,000 other people want to hear, is to bitch slap her. For you feminazis who have never been bitch slapped, let me explain what it is. A bitch slap, by definition, is when a man slaps a bitch across the face with full male force. Men are 3 times stronger across the chest than women, so when he slaps you that hard, you will be sent flying across the room, so strong is the impact. It is extremely painful, so that if you've ever been bitch slapped before, you will never want to be bitch slapped again. You will need to shut up now, or I will give the signal for the bitch slapping to begin." End quote. Unknown to the feminazis, the men's lib group members who invited the prominent masculist speaker warned him that very probably the feminazis would try to disrupt the talk, so they organised the bitch slapping strategy beforehand. The audience was filled with members of the men's lib group, several hundred of them. Quote, "Okay, you have had fair warning. You have chosen not to heed it, so let the bitch slapping begin. I want to hear several dozen bitch slaps. It will be amusing to watch the sparks fly." End quote. What happened next was a fascinating exercise in human group psychology. At first, there was hesitation, and no man bitch slapped any feminazi. Then one man did, a men's lib group member. The whole room heard the impact, and the woman screamed in pain and shock, then rage and murderous hatred. The man hit her again, and this time she fell to the floor. Then a second man bitch slapped a feminazi, and another scream went across the auditorium. Then there was deathly silence. The feminazis had realized that something historic had just occurred. Men were literally hitting back, expressing their obvious hatred for feminazis, expressing a male frustration that had been building up for years and now was exploding in real male collective rage. Then the feminazis themselves exploded into violent verbal rage as they became conscious that 2 of their kind had been bitch slapped. The auditorium was in uproar. This was followed by a 3rd and 4th bitch slap, all by men's lib group members. Now something new happened that was unexpected by the men's lib group. Non-men's lib group member men started bitch slapping the heckling feminazis as they became more emboldened by seeing that other guys were expressing their hatred and frustration against these insufferable feminazi bitches. Within a few seconds, bitch slaps were heard from all directions as heckling feminazis reeled in pain, shock and horror as feminazi after feminazi was bitch slapped to the ground. Then the men in the audience started yelling at the top of their lungs in real rage, "Get out, you feminazi bitches! Out! Out! Out!" Men started twisting women's arms behind their backs and bouncing them out of the room. Even some hefty females were doing the same. The feminazi battle was lost. The masculist battle was won. History had been made, and it was all filmed to go on internet, to go viral all around the world. Men had hit back, literally. The hated feminazis had been bitch-slapped. The precedent had been established, and soon such collective bitch-slappings were occurring around the world at other masculist talks. The broadcast media soon heard of this incident, and the invited speaker was interviewed. He was asked, "Do you approve of hitting women?" He replied, quote, "The hated feminazis have indirectly become genociders and have to be stopped." He was given quite a long interview by national media, so his views were seen by millions of viewers on TV. A ton of publicity then followed all around the country. The feminazis were then forced to regroup and rethink their strategies, what to do in face of masculist bitch-slapping incidents. They decided to call on the help of the male feminists, often the boyfriends of the feminazis. So the next time a prominent, different, masculist was invited to talk at the same university, the audience contained feminazis and their boyfriends and masculists. When the feminazis started heckling and the bitch-slapping started, the male feminists attacked the bitch-slappers and a real fistfight started. Many male noses were bloodied as male feminists and masculist sympathizers fought it out. At some colleges, the male feminists won, but over time, the bitch-slapping incidents won out until the feminazis gave up. They could not compete against the strength and hatred of the men. They just submitted, as women do, when they can't get men to help them. Another reason why the feminazis lost the sex war was due to the enormous publicity these masculist bitch-slapping incidents caused. The masculists got huge publicity and many media platforms to express their opinions, telling clearly the journalists that the feminazi bitches were genociders, indirectly wiping out whole populations, so have to be stopped. They were also given the opportunity to present masculist/MGTOW ideas at length. Magazines and newspapers, etc. followed suit. Young women increasingly began to panic as they learned that the odds were high that they would not have a baby due to the MGTOW boycott of paternity as caused by the fluffy feminist-generated toxicity of the divorce courts. So the feminazis were now getting the hatred of both sexes, which really took the wind out of their sails. In time, the feminazis effectively died out as they were spat at by both sexes, utterly rejected by men by not having one, not even being pumped and dumped, just left rotting on the shelf to extinction, ostracized by both sexes. So guys, there's a lesson to be learned here. Admittedly, the above is, at the time of writing, a piece of fiction, but who knows how soon it will be before it serves as a model for a real such incident. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channels De GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW, Flyers, and Hugo de GARIS.